Hello everyone and welcome to part 6 of What If Transformers Prime and the ShatteredVerse merged. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So here we go, jumping into Season 2. So this part starts off in the aftermath of Unicron's almost uprising, where the world is a little shaken up and begins to recover, and at a maximum security prison of the military base. Mech were able to escape due to a lot of the walls collapsing, and they now plot to get their revenge on the Transformers that now have arrived on their home world. And soon we cut to TFP Optimus and ShatteredVerse Megatron now pumping on the new version of Synthetic Energon, where they head off into the field, where they then find the Spark Extractor. Soon an army of drones of the opposing side arrive, and they try to seize the Spark Extractor. However, TFP Optimus and ShatteredVerse Megatron with the Synthetic Energon are basically stronger and faster, and they manage to fight through the wave of drones swiftly. And the Spark Extractor is placed into Prime Mountain's vault. The Primes then get their team together and discuss that there could be more of these relics out there, and they must find them before their enemies do, because the Spark Extractor was just the first, and they'll likely catch on to what they're doing soon. And notably, SG Knockout and TFP Bumblebee are absent because they are on a mission. Where on their mission, they pursue a signal where it turns out to be false, and they are shot and immobilized by Mech. And with still pretty much the same amount of forces they had in the episode Convoy, they are more than equipped to take two bots into their custody and are taken back to Mech HQ, where surprisingly and sadly enough, the two are then terminated basically by Mech because they're absolutely hating Cybertronians right now. And Silas has an idea on an ultimate warrior to exterminate these Cybertronians. And soon enough, our heroes realize that they have allies missing. And then Agent Fowler calls up Shatterglass Soundwave and tells him that due to the Unicron almost rising thing and a lot of the natural disasters, the prison was heavily damaged and Mech escaped. And our heroes immediately spring into action trying to locate Mech, any traces of them, or their headquarters. Meanwhile, we see as Knockout and Breakdown move in and are about to secure the shield generator relic until Shatterglass Bumblebee and Shatterglass Ratchet arrive, because they were sent to retrieve it. And then both sides do have a moment of silence and begin to argue that both their respective leaders sent them, and it is soon realized that the alliance that both sides had, it is now over. ShatteredVerse Bumblebee opens fire, which actually causes the shield generator relic to activate. ShatteredVerse Ratchet runs to try to attack Knockout from behind, but Breakdown uppercuts him with the hammer. ShatteredVerse Ratchet gets up from the shots, and then he looks to Breakdown. You're gonna need more than just a doctor after I'm through with you. Then he takes out blasters out of his arms and shoots them at Breakdown, because in the opposite ways of TFP Ratchet, ShatteredVerse Ratchet uses the blasters instead of blades. But Breakdown fires his shoulder cannon and actually manages to get a hit on Shatterglass Ratchet, killing him. ShatteredVerse Bumblebee is enraged because he and ShatteredVerse Ratchet had a sort of partnership like Knockout and Breakdown. And so he opens fire at Breakdown, shooting him in the head and killing him. Where Knockout, enraged, is about to face off ShatteredVerse Bumblebee on his own. However, a ground bridge opens below him and he's taken to the warship by Soundwave. The loss of Breakdown is noted, Megatron says, but however, you got the relic before Optimus did, or at least the evil one. To which ShatteredVerse Bumblebee reports back to Optimus on the loss of the shield generator relic and the death of Ratchet. To which ShatteredVerse Optimus is enraged at ShatteredVerse Bumblebee's failure, and especially with the death of Ratchet. And so, his punishment is that he literally grabs Bumblebee by the neck and crushes his voice box. Perhaps this will teach you a lesson on never to fail me again, Bumblebee. Soon enough, our heroes get a lead on their captured enemies and the location of Mech. thanks to ShatteredVerse Laserbeak, who flew all around the planet and managed to get traces of their energon signals. To which TFP Optimus informs Agent Fowler that they will incarcerate Mech and Silas in Prime Mountain due to their advanced prison cell made by the Forged. Then we see the Autobots immediately ground bridge in and pretty much separate to cover more ground and surround the base. It would seem that the heroes have arrived to save their friends. Let's give it to them. To which we then see him press a lever, activating his newest project, a fusion of both dead Transformers in their possession, the Crimson Mark1, where it's immediately deployed to take care of the heroes. To which, like Nemesis Prime, he goes and deals with all of the heroes one by one. However, because our heroes are now holding synthetic energon in their systems, it's a lot harder, if not impossible, for the Crimson drone to defeat them. ShatteredVerse Megatron has half of the troops help him deal with the Crimson drone, and an Optimus takes the other half into Mech HQ to apprehend them. To which Agent Fowler and General Bryce arrive. But this time, Mech is taken into custody, not at just an average military base or prison, but to Prime Mountain. As for the Crimson drone, it is locked up. However, Ratchet and the Decepticon minor clones have a theory, to which they start working on possibly restoring the memories of their fallen comrades in this vessel, due to technology mixed from both universes. And as they begin work on their theory, we then cut to deep space, where we see a ship as it's chasing another ship, and the ship blows up. And a certain wrecker is revealed to have survived the explosion, and he floats in space, with the ship preparing to open fire and finish off this Autobot. However, that is when another ship flies in and rams Sea-Spray, and Sea-Spray's on the glass. And then he's like, "It's you, but wait, you look different." "I could say the same thing about you. You're the one hunting me. How did you end up in space?" And that is when the two realize that they're not who they think they are to each other. That weird anomaly that was felt in space. Something must have happened. Alternate realities, maybe? They'll find out, but for now, they decide to work together, where we see TFP Sea-Spray hop into ShatteredVerse Dreadwing's ship. And the ship starts evasive maneuvers and opens fire on the other ship. And soon enough, that ship is blown up, with TFP Dreadwing being stranded in space. However, another ship hits him, and Dreadwing is stuck on the glass, where the ship's pilot, ShatteredVerse Sea-Spray, says, "You're done running, Khan." But then he realizes something. This Dreadwing looks different. Then he looks at the ship, which is also in the vicinity, where he sees someone who looks a lot like him, and Dreadwing. To which ShatteredVerse Sea-Spray is like, "Most fascinating turn of events indeed." And then he allows TFP Dreadwing on board his ship. And the two begin to talk to each other. TFP Dreadwing saying that he was hunting Sea-Spray from TFP, and then ShatteredVerse Sea-Spray saying that he was hunting ShatteredVerse Dreadwing. And both then say that they were going to head to Earth soon after because their master is on Earth. Both their masters. And now both realize they have common goals, decide to flee to Earth together. And of course, ShatteredVerse Dreadwing ship with Sea-Spray and TFP Dreadwing follow. And soon enough in sight comes a planet called Earth. And that's where I'm going to leave it off here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed part 6, and I'll see you guys in part 7.